Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Unibro Nate Reacts. Today we're gonna be reacting to 10 worst school punishments ever. I mean, the last time I got ISS was last year, and I haven't gotten it ever since. So
Like and subscribe right now, or you are going to have bad luck for the rest of the
punishment in school as a kid. But the form of punishment today is supposed to be less severe than before. But sometimes teachers and schools take things just too far. The worst school punishments are not just physical, they are also mental and psychological. Here are 10 of the worst school punishments some unfortunate kids had to bear. Number 1 will give you chills, so watch out for that. Frozen peas. We bet this student will never look at the frozen vegetable section.
what's so bad about frozen peas? I guess we'll find out, right? It couldn't be that bad.
Of the grocery store the same way again. When one student was being disobedient, the teacher forced her to kneel on frozen peas as her punishment, and the result? Her legs were literally
What is the point is this? What's the point is this? What is the point of this? Why are they doing their kids like this, bro? Like, what is that? It looks like freaking, I don't know, it looks like thumbs actually, but it's actually
with multiple deep pea-shaped indents that we're sure didn't disappear after an hour or two. While this punishment doesn't seem too cruel or unusual, it's becoming more popular in Asian countries, and it is not only limited to school. It's happening in homes as well. It is more likely to occur in Chinese homes. The reason it is becoming more popular is that the teachers think that the pain or probably the embarrassment of the punishment would motivate students to perform better behaviorally as well as educationally. It is most commonly used.
Yeah, but why that was gruesome, like, bro. Why would they do something like that anyway? There should be a press conference about not doing that, you know? Like, there should be to market off that shit.
Used on the misbehaved students, and if frozen peas aren't available, frozen corn or uncooked rice will work just as well. There's nothing like putting someone through excruciating pain to get your point across. Don't play with your hair. If you've ever had a sister, it's safe to say that you threatened to cut off her hair at one point or another. But have you actually done it? One day in class, 7-year-old Lamea Common was playing with her braids, and when the teacher asked her to stop, she, like any 7-year-old that likes to push buttons, didn't stop. The teacher then asked her to come up to her desk for a piece of candy. She quickly proceeded to the teacher's desk, but when she got there, the teacher took out her scissors and cut off one of her braids.
The teacher took out her scissors. She basically, I don't know what she did, but she cut off one of her braids. I know the parent was mad because I know they probably fired that teacher. I don't know, because I know that's not good.
Braids, all without saying anything. The girl was shocked and started to cry as she returned to her desk, and the other students laughed at her. The teacher would then explain to her enraged mother that she did it because she was frustrated. The teacher was fined $175 and faced some disciplinary action from the school, and little Amaya was transferred to a different class. The starvation method. If withholding recess doesn't do the trick, you can always withhold lunch. One afternoon at Bethune Elementary and Middle School, a huge food fight broke out in the cafeteria. Instead of punishing only
A huge food fight. Imagine that being like actually every day. There would be less fights, you know? What is this, like, prison thing school right here? Or is this a school? I don't know.
The students that were involved, the school decided to refrain from serving lunch to all 6th, 7th, and 8th graders for an entire week. Each child was sent home with a letter.
What? They didn't get food for that long? Bro, I would leave that school. But that school looks like it's in Indonesia or something. I don't really know. Or Africa or something, where they have like 10 school hours a day.
That they were required to bring their own food if they wanted to have lunch. Given that this one is reported to be one of Michigan's worst performing schools, it really comes as no surprise that they would do this. Parents were obviously angered by the cruel and unusual punishment. What's even more disturbing that many of the other students are less fortunate and receive free meals at school, so by taking that away, they likely would not get any meal at all. Fortunately, the Education Achievement Authority heard about the punishment and had a chat with the Bethune administration, canceling the punishment. We're not sure you could stoop much lower than taking food away from children that desperately need it. Make love, not war. While this next punishment may have worked when you were 5 years old and fighting with your siblings, it certainly isn't appropriate for high schoolers. After 2 male students attending Westwood High in Mesa, Arizona were caught fighting, they were given 2 options: be suspended or publicly hold hands for 15 minutes in the school courtyard. They chose to hold hands because what high schooler wouldn't when they know?
What? Depends. If it's a girl, I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's a girl, like, you know, like, but if it's another boy, what? In high school? Like, what kind of, I don't know.
No, they would have to face their parents if they chose suspension. During the hand-holding session, other students made fun of them, yelled inappropriate slurs, and used anti-gay language. Some students claimed that it was sending the wrong message about being gay by using same-sex hand-holding as a form of punishment. However, the principal had many supporters at the school, and they reminded everyone that it was their choice to hold hands, and that it was never meant to reinforce negative thoughts about gays. Segregated lunchroom. Being refused lunch.
Segregated lunchroom is going all the way back to slavery, bro. Like, are they still doing that? Imagine if they're still doing that, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. It's punishment. Still, the racism going on today is ridiculous, you know.
Lunch as an entire student body doesn't sound so bad after hearing this story. A group of Hispanic students was refilling their cooler with a water jug when they ended up spilling water all over the floor. All it would have taken is a mop to clean up the harmless mess, but instead, the vice principal, who was an African American, decided to punish all of the 5th grade Hispanics, some which weren't even there on the day when the water was spilled.
What? Wait, they in... What? That is dumb of that principal now, bro. She's dumb, is all I can say. He should get fired for doing that, bro. I mean, he's getting impeached.
What do you think their punishment could be for spilling a little bit of water? Well, it turned out that it was to eat lunch on the ground with nothing but paper liners separating their food from the dirty and disgusting gym floor. For 10 days, those Hispanic students sat on the floor eating off of thin sheets of paper while the African American students sat at lunch tables with trays and poked fun at them. When their teacher told the children to tell their parents about what was happening, the good-hearted mentor was fired, but when the students' parents did finally find out, 7 out of the 15 families involved sued the school, winning a $500,000 lawsuit. The teacher that was fired.
Oh my gosh, a $500,000 lawsuit, bro. Imagine winning that much. Wait, the $500,000 each for each person, each family. They wouldn't be going to school again. I know that because they'd be rich. They could do whatever they want.
Also received $75,000. Sadly, this story goes to show that segregation is still ever present in today's society, and even in our elementary schools. Bullied by the teacher. At one particular school, the kids aren't the ones you need to look out for. Rather, it's the teachers. One day in a kindergarten class, 5-year-old Alex Barton, who has autism, kept disrupting class by kicking the other students, throwing and eating crayons, and crawling under tables. Unable to stop this behavior, the teacher sent him to the principal's office.
What is that boy doing, bro? If I would have seen him doing that, bro, I would like actually punch him. And look at that girl right there. She knows she's that funny, you know. She like I have no disappointment with that. Like it's just so funny, bro. It's like I hate not to laugh, you know.
After a discussion with the associate principal, Alex returned to the class. When he returned to class, the teacher had already devised a method of punishing him and told him to stand in the front of the class and instructed the other students to tell him why they didn't like him. After all the students have told their opinion about Alex, she went on telling him that she hated him and
Bro, look at the girls looking at him, bro. Like he better flip them off or something. Like stop looking at me. Like I don't like that at all. Like bro, this is one bad kid. Like he might be in prison when he gets older. You know, starting at that age, like.
didn't like him at all. When she went on asking other students whether or not Alex should be allowed to stay in the class for the rest of the day, and only 2 good-hearted students took his side while the other 14 voted him out. Humiliated by the teacher and his class fellows, poor Alex spent the rest of the day in the nurse's office and suffered severe emotional damage following the incident. With that type of adults who are supposed to be role models,
I would imagine he actually regretted doing that, you know. I would too, like I would regret getting in trouble about this, I don't know.
it's no wonder where children learn how to be bullies. Strip search. Apparently, one school thought all they needed was a hunch to strip search a student. When the vice principal caught a girl with prescription strength ibuprofen, she said she got it from Savannah Redding, an honor roll student who had no prior substance or disciplinary issues. After hearing this rumor, the vice principal and the administrative assistant pulled her out of class to check her backpack. When they did not find any trace of drugs in her bag, the vice principal ordered the school nurse to.
So they strip searched the school. They actually strip searched the school nurse. What?
Strip search because he was convinced that she was carrying them in her underwear. She was asked to shake out her bra and pulled the elastic of her underwear to see if anything would fall out, but no drugs were found. Now, being a 13-year-old girl is already hard enough, but when you're forced to take off all of your clothes in front of a
Forced to take off all of your clothes at 13, bro. 13 years old.
stranger, it could take a toll on your emotional well-being. Humiliated, she left the school and understandably did not want to come back ever. The girl's mother filed a lawsuit that reached the U.S. Supreme Court 6 years later. Fortunately, the court agreed that the search violated the student's constitutional rights, and she won a long-winded battle. Draw, or not. Apparently kids nowadays can even get into trouble for playing cops and robbers. Mason Jammer was acting just like any ordinary.
Yeah, true. You could get in. Like, look at this dude. Like he know he laughing because he got in trouble. Like he's a little psychopath. I don't know. Anyway, it's dumb, bro. Don't play cops and robbers.
6-year-old on the playground when he put his hand like a gun and began pointing it at his friends, something most kids have probably done at one point or another in their lives. Well, the school wasn't too happy about the situation and suspended the little boy for 2 days. They backed up their punishment with a zero-tolerance gun and violence policy. The school claimed that the other students were uncomfortable with the situation.
I mean, I believe that's right because you gotta like tell the kids not to shoot guns because of all the killings that's going on in the world today. You know, like there's thousands of people being killed every day. It's not good.
frustration, and that Mason had already been warned about holding up his handgun. But was the child going around pretending to shoot other students? Probably not. In fact, Mason Jammer had never shown any violent tendencies and never even showed up to his school with a toy gun. Juvenile delinquents. Nothing scares a kid more than getting arrested, especially if they've done something illegal, such as shoplifting the candy bar they've had their eye on. But this school district took things a bit too far. There had been so many youth arrests at the Meridian, Mississippi School District that the Department of Justice had accused it of running a school-to-prison pipeline. For at least 6 years now, a minimum of 7 students of color were suspended and even arrested for minor infractions that included...
What? Like, I mean, I have to admit, I did steal a toothbrush when I was like 2 years old. Like, I was a baby, I did not know right from wrong, you know? I believe it's my real mom's fault. I don't know, you know?
Wearing inappropriately colored socks, being tardy, and racing to the bathroom without permission to prevent an embarrassing accident from occurring in class. After being arrested, they were thrown in jail without a hearing or a right to an attorney, and most of them didn't even understand their rights, considering that some of them were as young as just 10 years old. The worst part is that the parents had no idea until the child was in lockup, and they would sometimes stay in jail for days at a time. In addition to this, a large number of students with disabilities were expelled or suspended at alarming rates for similar minor violence.
Oh my gosh, they got sent to jail at 10 years old? Like, what kind of cruelty is that? Like, the minimum is 13, right? You can only go to jail if you're 13. Because you're considered a teenager, not a minor. Anyway,
that epic email should have been a...
I hope y'all enjoyed.